and the question was posed, who had a better soundtrack? Boomerang or Waiting to Exhale? So what I want you all to do is type into the chat which soundtrack was the better soundtrack. Was it Boomerang or was it Waiting to Exhale? And that could be our little icebreaker for tonight. So we could begin. Let's begin. Everybody make sure you vote. I would like to call this meeting to order. All right. Our mission, the Fairfax County NAACP is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization whose mission is to achieve equity, political rights, and social inclusion by advancing policies and practices that expand human and civil rights, eliminate discrimination, and accelerate the well-being, educational, and economic security of Black people and all people of color. Next slide, please. We will begin with a prayer from our Religious Affairs Committee co-chair, Ms. Pandister. You're muted, Ms. Pam. Ms. Pam, you're muted.
Sorry. Thank you. Lord, we thank you for the beautiful tapestry of humanity, woven with threads of diverse cultures, languages, and experiences. Open our eyes to the unique gifts and talents that each person brings to the world. Help us to see beyond superficial differences and to recognize the inherent dignity and worth of every individual. May we be inspired by the richness of your creation and work towards a more inclusive and just world. We pray this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, so I have a very short president's report. As you all know, summertime things are not really going on. Everybody's on vacation. I just got off vacation myself, and a number of us here at the branch in XCOM just got off vacation. But three things I'm going to, make mention of that will be elaborated on later. We had a very successful college day. We had a college day, our first college day, our inaugural college day. That was June 7th. And that day we had, I believe, about 12 HBCUs and about 3 PWIs. We had every branch of the military here recruiting. We had it over at Gum Springs. We had a lot of kids. We had, what else? We had, some different nonprofit organizations. We did have members of the D9 who have mentor organizations within their fraternity and sorority. So they were there as well. It was a great day. It was from 11 to 2. We had lunch. And like I said, it was a great day. We also gave out our scholarships, our Michelle Leap Memorial Scholarships. We gave out one $1,000 scholarship and 3 $500 scholarships. We also gave out stuff to trunk baskets. We gave out gift cards. I mean, it was just a great day. And we'll let our chair or co-chair, whichever one is here of the scholarship committee, elaborate more on that. Daryl or either Tara can talk more to that. This month we had our national convention in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we sent 3 delegates. We had Region 3 Vice President Karen Camblin was there. We had, I believe Diana, you went, right? Okay, Diana Rhodes went on our behalf, as well as Nira Dada. And Nira took some copious notes for that. So when she does the housing brief, she will also brief you all on the national convention. We do have you don't have to change the slide, Miss Lenore, but our gala is coming up, and our first VP, Vice President Evelyn Spain, will speak more on that. But I just wanted you all to know that we are looking for vendors. We have vendor space. The vendor space is $250. It comes with one table, two chairs, and one meal ticket. One meal ticket. So if you know someone with a small business, maybe paparazzi, candles, nice jewelry, clothing, if you know of someone, please email me and we will send them the link. We only have space for about four, maybe five. That's all we have the space for. We did more last year and it took up too much room. So now we're going to cut it short this year to about four or five, depending on what the person is selling. So if you all know anyone with a small business, again, the price is $250. It comes with one table, two chairs, and one meal ticket. If they desire to have an extra meal ticket, they will pay the membership price for that ticket, which I believe is $125 for that. But again, First Vice President Ms. Evelyn Spain can speak more to that. Next slide, please. And we will move to the Secretary's report. Secretary O'Brien.
Good evening, everyone. Mike O'Brien here, and I'm coming up short in terms of having minutes for us to approve tonight. We did get them done, but sadly too late to get them into the general membership announcement. So we will have them for you. Look for them next month along with tonight's minutes. I do want to just add to President Zimmerman's brief report. I happened to attend the college day. It was an incredibly inspirational event, not only because it was in honor of our dearly departed president, Michelle Leet, but the fact that it got pulled off in so short a time and it was such a wonderful success. I really applaud those in the branch who handled that. And I'm looking forward to hearing from those from NERA on the national convention front. I'll also just add that I'm so thankful that we were also able to have our communications chair, Michelle Pulliam, at the meeting. She happens to be spending the summer in North Carolina and was able to get down there for part of the meeting. So, so she was also there. And that is my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Next slide, please. And now we'll move on to our treasurer report. Treasurer Scott or Assistant Treasurer Norwood.
Hi, good evening. For the treasurer's report, there's nothing really to report. All of our accounts are in good standing, locally, nationally. Thank you.
I also believe that Treasurer Scott was speaking, but she's on mute, which she might not know. That's why we couldn't hear you.
Yes, I echo those sentiments. Thank you.
Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, I did not see our third VP, Mr. Les Shockley, so we will come back to that once he's able to log on. Criminal Justice, Pratik, I saw Pratik in here.
I'll keep it pretty brief as well. It's pretty consistent with what we reported last month. We're working on a few things. Number one, our top priority is formulating response to what happened with FCP and the EAT, how the foot pursuit policy process kind of broke down. And right now we're working with members of the EAT to formulate a response to send to the Board of Supervisors to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. Another topic that we're working on is the expungement clinic. That's still on track, hopefully, for it to be on in September, sometime in the fall. We're working with Supervisor Lusk's office. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this month.
Okay, thank you. Education, our second Vice President, Dr. Sujatha Hampton. She was in here. She's in here.
Hi,
Okay,
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hi, everyone. Just a couple of things that I wanted to report on. Last week, at the board meeting, there was some conversation about from the board members were asking Dr. Reed what she expected was going to have to happen with regard to the federal funds, because there are federal funds that are being frozen that support all kinds of programs for the schools. So the special education, Title I, preschool programs, all the title programs, Title IX, Title VI, Title III, all of the preschool programs. And it is it's threatening staff because they don't have enough money. So the school board was asking where she sees specific cuts, and Dr. Reed said very clearly that she sees cuts coming to ESOL, and then she was asked for further clarification by Dr. Moon, by Ilrong Moon, and by Dr. Anderson, rather, whether there would be cuts to the equity office, and she said yes, and to the equity office. She said that in her remarks on Thursday's school board meeting. That is of great concern to us because obviously the equity office supports the work that we support. The equity office is there to support the work that we are doing with regard to education locally. Likewise, there has been a new threat to where the federal government has said they're not going to support any, there will be no federal funding for any programs that go to undocumented people. So that means that whole programs that don't necessarily just impact undocumented people, but do also impact undocumented people, often serve poor people, and underserved people are served by the same pocket of money. When that money disappears, the program disappears for a lot of the children that are not just undocumented, but that are legal residents, United States citizens. It's all of our children, but it tends to be the poor children and underserved children. So that is a major concern for us. So look for more information about that. Follow the school board. You can always find the school board meetings if you Google Fairfax County School Board, you will find all the school board meetings. This was in the July, I believe it was the 18th. It was Thursday of last week's meeting, where it's around the 1 hour mark. They also discuss redistricting. So there's a lot of conversation about redistricting. There is a redistricting task force that's supposed to be examining this. They're deciding whether they will be doing redistricting for a whole cloth, what parts of elementary school, what parts of middle school, what parts of high school, what about the ones that are overcrowded. There's a big discussion about that now, and there really does not seem to be consensus on the board that they will protect whole high schools. So it's going to be some chaos, and you can expect to see that affecting a lot of communities and causing a lot of sort of community conversation, chaos, disruption as we work through this, because we do have overcrowded schools and we do have to do something about that. They have to build a new school, but they can't build a new school before they've decided where they're taking other schools, because they have to put the new school in the right place. So it is a very serious issue that we need to be paying attention to. So just wanted to draw your attention to that.
Dr. Hampton, what are the pros and cons, if there are any, of the redistricting, and how would it affect the communities of color, in particular the Black community?
Well, the pros, if they do a good job of if they actually do a legitimate job that doesn't do cutouts, like what tends to happen is that when they do a redistricting, the most powerful voices, the most wealthy communities get a large say. So people who live in a fairly wealthy community of single family homes in a wealthy community will want their school to, usually they want their school to be they bought the house because they expected to be able to be at this school. They didn't buy the house to be at this other school, right? That's usually what the argument is. And they have the most money for for advocacy. So they hire people, they hire essentially lobbyists to go, and they will fill a whole auditorium with people to argue and to make points. And they call they call the representatives, and they get in their ears. And more communities of color, who don't live. Most communities of color are not this way. They're not that wealthy. That is not where the concentration, and also usually the concentration of kids is not in those communities either. So if this is done in a legitimate way where you're thinking about a school and its periphery, and you're also protecting programs like CTE programs, special education programs, things like that, so people have some continuity of care, then you might have a year or so of difficulty, but at least in the end, in a couple of years, it would be a legitimate process. But if that doesn't happen and you have protected whole particular schools and you have not done a fair job of it, you really are essentially kicking the can down the road. So I can't really say what would happen, but ideally what happens is that overcrowded schools and schools that need more, that have more special services and receive more special services and have more care to provide for students because of more need in that community would be protected. That is a consideration in those meetings. It is a consideration what kind of programs are served in the school, how many kids of need are served in the school. So ideally, I don't really have an answer to the how would it affect. What you really want is for the students that are in our care, let's say students of color in our community that are under our sort of that we're looking after or thinking about primarily, that they would be able to go to a school that is not overcrowded, and they would be able to go to a school that they can access close by, that makes it easier for their parents to get to them, and that any special services required by these particular communities in terms of special education and literacy, that they would be having the continuity of care in those schools. You would hope. So I can't really say how it would affect because nothing has happened yet. So President Zimmerman, I can't answer that question, but you definitely hope, and I do know, I can say for sure in these meetings, they are talking about that, thinking about that. It is in the room, even if a lot of the people in the room are not thinking about that, a lot of the people in the room are there to protect their property values, and you can hear that in their commentary, for sure, a lot of the people in that room. However, the professionals who are doing the work at FCPS are aware that that is their job, to do a proper assessment. So I can honestly say I do believe that that's front of mind in the actual educational professionals that are doing that work.
We have a question, but we have to move on. But you actually have two questions in the chat. You have one from Ms. Dada. Can you type in the response? And I
Sure.
believe Treasurer Scott has a question as well. And Ms. D. Carter, can you please put your question in the chat, and Dr. Hampton will answer them, whether including everyone or answer you directly. So we're going to go ahead and move on. Thank you, Dr. Hampton. Housing, Mary is not here. Our chair, Mary Payton, couldn't join us. So Ms. Nira Dada will be filling in for her. She will give the housing report as well as the summary from the National Convention. Ms. Dada?
Thank you. So I'm just going to read from Mary's report. Our committee has been following the House budget cuts to HUD. Housing vouchers are funded at last year's rate and will not be turned into a state block grant as proposed by the president. The housing budget cuts funds from a flexible program called HOME and from fair housing, for which Fairfax usually received over $2 million. The Senate considers the House bill this week, and in Fairfax County, 5,000 families depend on vouchers for their monthly rent. Regarding homelessness in the heat, we are collecting information from day centers for homeless people on how they are faring in the intense heat and storms. It is also worth noting that there is a heat dome, that's what they're calling it this week, so it's pretty intense heat this week specifically. The county has distributed materials and has opened regular shelters for overnight stays on the floor on many hot days recently. And I can just add, I've been to our local library recently, and apparently there has been some power cuts. So I've seen a good amount of our unhoused community somehow surviving in the parking lot because the libraries were not available as cooling centers. The question of, is the county achieving its goal of 10,000 affordable units? We calculated that how the county is doing on its goal of building 10,000 net new affordable units by 2034. A lower goal was set in 2020, so we took the 14 years between 2020 and 2024 and divided it by 10K to show a pace of about 714 units per year. In the 5 years since 2020, Fairfax has delivered 260 units per year for a total of about 1,300 units. And that's about 454 units short each year. An additional 1,500 units are currently under construction. In other news, the Northern Virginia Affordable Housing Alliance has formed a Fairfax County group of housing advocates, including the NAACP. It will be meeting monthly. The first project is drafting a guide for community affordable housing advocates facing opposition from a not in my backyard group, or NIMBY is what we call them. There's also a policy plan review, and Mary is working on a GIS map of the county showing planned development sites overlaid with areas of high or very high socioeconomic vulnerability, income, education, health indicators, etc. Most of the development areas are either in or adjacent to the area of high or very high vulnerability. Mary is submitting the map with comments on the proposed new land use policy, and it will go out to our housing community, to our housing committee members for comments this week. And lastly, we're looking at justice for manufactured housing communities. The county manufactured housing roundtable has proposed a comprehensive plan amendment and relocation guidelines for mobile home families if their park is bought by a developer. And we're pushing for fair market value compensation for mobile homes that cannot be moved. And that is the housing report, excuse me. So we had the great honor of representing our branch at the National NAACP convention. It was in Charlotte, North Carolina. There were 3 of us who were at the voting delegates. I can give you a quick overview of that. We are in Region 7. There were a total of 141 delegates and alternates. As far as youth delegates go, there were 40 of them for a total of 181 from our Region 7. And when we were voting, there were 1,600 delegates in the room. It was a very interesting discussion to follow. I will post the link in the chat so you guys can see the actual vote and how things went. If I recall correctly, we did pass all the resolutions, some with amendments, some not. There were some interesting points that were brought up. There was a discussion about the Tuskegee Airmen, and we had a wonderful pilot stand up and talk about how we want to have more access to pilot training for young African-American want-to-be pilots who would like to have that education provided to them. And that was a great conversation to follow. Other things that I noted in my notes, there was one resolution that was urging cosmetic companies to reformulate their hair straightening products and pursue safer alternatives to eliminate or significantly reduce hazardous chemicals, and to market these products in a way that do not perpetuate racial stereotypes or unrealistic beauty standards. There was some concern about some of the hair products not having carcinogens and other things that are not something that we want to have on our shelves. These resolutions were proposed by either branches or by a state, or even by Derek Johnson, our president, who I will follow up on that in a second. But some of the things were very interesting to me. President Derek Johnson had proposed having a resolution that talked about economic hardship and homelessness after either natural or man-made disasters, and how that affects vulnerable populations, specifically Black populations, where they may need mortgage forbearance when they're temporarily relieved of paying a mortgage after one of the big natural disasters that we've been dealing with. And some of the resolutions passed perfectly fine. No one had a problem with it. There were some concerns with the wording. One that I will bring to your attention is there was a concern about putting forth a resolution that protected Black mothers. And then there was a Black father who stood up and said, well, if you only make a resolution about Black mothers, that excludes me. That resolution did pass. But the reason why I was bringing up who is proposing these resolutions is I noted, and even in our Region 7 meeting, we noted that there's not very much coming out of Region 7, DC, Maryland, Virginia. We have been impacted by a lot of the job cuts to folks who've been working in DC. And I can just speak on behalf of our branch that I think we do wonderful work. We do a lot of work behind the scenes, a lot of unseen work. And I think that if we were all to put our heads together, maybe we can come up with a proposed resolution. For example, the parents, we understand that the plight of single Black mothers, but we also want to recognize that there would be fathers, there's grandmothers, there's other people that would look after a child who may be discriminated against, and maybe there's something that we can put together here. I believe that the date is May 1st. There is a whole process to propose a resolution. I'm not someone who knows very much about that, but I think that maybe we can think and brainstorm and maybe propose some things that we think would be not just affecting our area, but on a national level should be there. Lastly, I will just say that there was two things that I would like to say. One was the dismantling of adultification bias in Black girls in public schools and the criminal justice system. That was one that was interesting because Black women are less likely to get the same attention when they go missing. They are often sex trafficked, and that is something that the data is just not there, and we would like to see more data on it. And the big one for me, as this is my day job, would be opposing the dismantling of the United States Department of Education. I'm going to post the link, and then I will also say that there was one wonderful moment that I got to see. It was a talk on the miseducation of a nation, disinformation, division, and the fight for truth. There were 5 social media influencers that were there. I got to meet and greet with them. I got to shake their hand and listen to what they had to say. I'm going to throw their Instagrams into the chat as well. And if you want to follow them and support their work, they are out there helping to fight the good fight. I think that's it. I would like to open it up to the other delegates who were there if they wanted to say anything. But just thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. If you have do you have anything, Diana, to add before we move on? Diana and Chair Michelle?
No, I just had a general, that was excellent, Nira, and I experienced a lot of the same thing, but we had some different things we attended. I'll just share that we heard from unions at the Labor Town Hall, how the NAACP and labor unions need to continue to stick together, how important labor unions really are, and how there should be unionized labor in many careers. All the talks and events revolved around how we're not okay with what's going on in this country, and some of the civil rights abuses, et cetera, and what the NAACP stands for. We were doubling down on what we really stand for. I attended some CLE or continuing legal education constitutional classes, but not being a lawyer, I basically just absorbed. There's a lot of information, but I haven't written those notes up yet. It's the location, the food they offer, the cash bar, everything was excellent. I didn't see a lot of entertainment, but I know there was some great entertainment. They had a shopping area with minority artisans and businesses called The Hub. It was phenomenal to shop there and meet some people. And there were just a lot of great people, a lot of networking. And I just, being my first time, I just absorbed it all. But Nira covered so much of the meat of what was going on. And it was really an excellent experience, very important. And the NAACP is, they're not going to take all this stuff lying down. The resolutions were amazing, what they're standing up for. So that's really all I wanted to add. Thank you, Nikki, and I guess Michelle, what did you think?
Yes, I'm not going to take up everyone's time, but it was an excellent convention, and I will prepare my notes, President Zimmerman, and I will have them for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a quick FYI, two quick FYIs. Next year, the convention will be in the Windy City. It will be in Chi-Town. So please get prepared for that if you all would like to attend that. We will make sure that as the information comes out, our members can see about going. The second thing is when you mention the labor unions, for the past few months, I've been working with the labor unions here in Nova to create a labor committee. So we're trying to get I'm working with the Mid-Atlantic Pike trades, Nova Labor, and plumbers and electricians to get them to send one person from each of those unions, and they can be our labor union committee. So we've been working on that for quite some time. Hopefully by the end of the year, it will be etched in stone and set in place. I spoke with Nova Labor about 2 weeks ago about it. They said they're working on getting some people. So um, we are going to move on to Freedom Fund. Our first VP, Vice President Evelyn Spain. Are you here, Miss Evelyn? VP Spain? I thought I saw her. Thought like Nelly, she's not here. Okay. Jasmine, who is our membership chair, who also sits on the gala committee, can you brief us on the gala?
Yeah, I have a few updates. I missed our check-in session before this call, so I'm not sure of the most recent updates, but right now with sponsorships, we're doing pretty well. If we get all of the sponsors to pay that have pledged, I think we would definitely be meeting our sponsorship goals. So we have that deadline of August 16th to just get everybody finalized and get their payments set in stone. And as President Zimmerman mentioned, we are looking for vendors. So we are working on a job form for them to submit any information into us to select them as a vendor. And that will be starting in mid-August. We also met with the Tyson's Marriott last month just to go over logistics and to give them some lessons learned from last year so that the event can run more smoothly.
Jazz, can you put in the chat the our website with the link to
Yeah.
the hot links to the gala? Tickets are on sale now and they're going fast. Trust me, last year we had 210 people and folks were still trying to purchase tickets at the last minute. So tickets are going fast. I'm not going to announce who our speaker may be. I'll let Jazz know that we're finalizing some things for the speaker. Um, but also ads. We are selling ads. So I know the Deltas are here. So a lot of you all are entrepreneurs and you all have different businesses and things like that. So if you know of anyone again who has their own business and would like to purchase an ad, we have full page, half page, quarter page on sale. They just have to go on the link and make the purchase. Uh, Meredith isn't here. I think Meredith sent an email saying that she didn't have anything. I didn't see her. So going back to membership, I'm gonna do membership last because you have to introduce the deltas. Can I do like this? I can do that. Uh okay, political action is Miss Lenore Simmons.
Thank you, President Zimmerman. Just a few updates. We, the Political Action Committee, are currently going through the training so that we are able to have voter registration drives this summer and fall. We are planning a couple of them and we'll have that information out to the branch. We are also planning a couple of candidate forums for the upcoming November general election, and more details about that will be provided as those events are planned. And that's all I have.
Thank you. We will also, did you, I was typing something. We have oh, Daryl's trying to get in. I thought I let him in. The back to school. Did you mention the back to school?
I did not. That is August 2nd. It is at the Lorton Community Center. We are going to be registering voters as well as giving out school supplies to the students who attend that event. So we're looking for, President Zimmerman, we're looking for volunteers if they can come out and man the table with us on that day. It's August 2nd. Just contact me. And in addition to that, we are looking for members for our political action committee. So you can contact me at the email shown on the slide, and we'll be glad to add you to our committee.
Thank you, thank you. No disrespect to the Deltas, I was just joking. So don't chew me up when I did that. You know, in the 90s, if you listen to rap, Rockefeller did that. Okay, religious affairs, Miss Pam.
Well, we had a very successful Juneteenth commemoration at Bull Run Park last month, and other than that, we don't have any other report.
Okay, thank you. And we will have a scholarship. So Daryl,
Yes, good evening. We don't have anything to report for the scholarship committee.
can you let everyone know about the college day that we just had?
Oh, yes, yes. Actually, I spoke about that at the last general membership meeting, but yeah, the college day that we had was excellent. We had the Fairfax County superintendent come out. We had a lot of participation from the military, from the various local universities, and some HBCUs that are not in the metropolitan area. It was great. And, you know, as I said, the last general membership meeting, I think that Tara Smalls did an excellent job as far as facilitating the whole entire event. It was great. And it was a lot of lessons learned, a lot of stuff that I've written down that I want to make sure is I do better next time. So I think the next event that we're going to have next year is going to be bigger and better.
Is scholarship committee working on anything in the interim until they do have anything going on?
No, no, we do not.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to just, this is
Yes.
Mrs. Smalls,
Yes.
I just wanted to add that we are looking for donations to the scholarship fund. So that's probably what's next on our agenda, is to start raising money so that we can give out larger scholarships. So anybody that's on the call, if you see a call for an all call for scholarship money and donations, share with your organizations, affiliations, businesses, anyone that you know, individuals, and especially those of you that work for large corporations.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Smalls. Okay, now we're going to go back to membership for your briefing and for you to introduce our awardees.
Hey, good
Awardees.
evening. I did not introduce myself for the first update. Jasmine Carr, co-chair along with Jesse Ernest for membership. So we have concluded our outreach to the 1,600 inactive members. It spanned from May into July, so we pushed it a little further along, but it actually was very impactful. In July, there was definitely a 50% increase, so that's amazing. And right now, branch membership exceeds over 400 members, which, according to Secretary O'Brien, has not happened in a while. So that is really, really great news. And for now, the Women of the Hour, we are thrilled to recognize the Fairfax County Alumnae Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated as the winner for the second year in a row for our Black Greek Letter Organization Membership Challenge. Now, this year is a little different. They will also be awarded a $500 scholarship, which we still need to coordinate. But this outstanding chapter continues to model the true power of collective impact. And we want to thank you for your steadfast commitment to public service, social action, educational advancement, and community uplift. So now please join me in welcoming the president of the chapter, Joy Galberth.
Thank you. Thank you. I have nothing else. I have nothing to say. you've given my whole presentation. So I just want to say thank you so much for inviting us here this evening, inviting me here this evening in order to accept this award. Very proud to do so. And with that said, I will say good night. No, all kidding aside, my name is Joy Galberth, and I am the president of the Fairfax County Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We are a sisterhood that is dedicated to uplifting and empowering the communities we serve. Before I go any further, I did want to thank some of the members of Fairfax County Alumni Chapter who happen to be here, who are members of your chapter or branch, if you will. I'm sorry about the terminology, but that are members of your branch, but also there are members of Loudoun County Alumni Chapter here in support. So I'd like to thank them for their presence and support as well. So thank you for whomever is running the slides, and when you are ready, we can go on to the next one. Thank you so much. So our mission and purpose, for those of you that don't know about Delta, we are a private not-for-profit organization whose purpose is to provide assistance and support through the programs that we have established in local communities and throughout the world. And when you're ready, the next slide. I think you missed one, did you? Thank you. We do have a global presence. We have collegiate and alumni chapters located in the countries that you see on the screen, and we currently have 1,050 plus chapters across the globe. So we are, an organization with a far reach, and one that we are very, very proud of. We boast a membership of more than 300,000, actually 350,000 plus members, all college educated women with a commitment to sisterhood, scholarship, and public service. Next slide when you're ready. So from a historical, just to give you a little bit of history about us, again, we were founded on the campus of Howard University in 1913 by 22 college-educated women. And since that time, Delta continues to distinguish herself as a public service organization that confronts the challenges of African Americans and all Americans. When you're ready. Thank you. Our programs are aligned with Delta's 5-point programmatic thrusts, and they are our 5 points, if you will: educational awareness, physical and mental health, international awareness and involvement, economic development, political awareness and involvement, and all of our activities, programs, initiatives have the goal of strengthening the African American family. When you're ready, thank you. We are FCAC's mission. There we go. Thank you, because I want you to see our chapter. This is Fairfax County Alumni Chapter. This is all maybe 200 of us perhaps, but we boast a membership of 213 active members, all college educated women, again, dedicated to serving Fairfax County residents. And we are united in sisterhood, committed to service, scholarship, and social action. And when you're ready, we're going to see what our mission is. Thank you. We are guided by our 5 points of Delta's programmatic thrust, and our chapter strives to make meaningful impact through intentional and sustained community engagement. When you're ready, thank you. Our chapter's initiatives, again, align with national priorities with the goal of addressing the needs of local and international communities. We promote educational pursuits, we support economic development, we advocate for physical and mental health, we champion political awareness and involvement, and we seek to enhance international awareness, and involvement. And when you're ready. We recognize the urgencies of today's political climate. And so our goal continues to be, but understanding that it's vitally important that we continue to expand support for local residents. We're doing that through prioritizing hands-on community service and charitable giving. And in so doing, we're going to implement and continue to implement educational and empowering community programs. When you're ready. We are ready. Thank you. All righty. Social action and action. We focus on voter registration and education, supporting the September 9th special election to fill the vacancy left by the late Representative Gerald E. Connolly, and also understand the importance of mobilizing individuals or voters for the November 4th general election. Thank you. When you're ready. Our commitment, again, we cannot stress this enough, is empowering and educating residents in the communities that we serve, strengthening our community presence, educating and mobilizing voters, and uplifting through service, advocacy, and educational outreach. I placed there on the screen our 3 youth initiatives, our Delta GEMS, Delta Academy, and Embody programs. Our Delta GEMS is an acronym for Growing and Empowering Myself Successfully. And this is a youth initiative with a target audience of young women aged 14 to 18. Our Delta Academy is named by Dr. Betty Shabazz, the widow of Malcolm X, if you will. And this is another youth initiative that has a target audience of young women aged 11 to 14. And our Embody program seeks to a target audience of young men aged 13 to 18. And I'm looking down because I want to make sure that I get the acronym for Embody right. And it is empowering males to build opportunities for developing independence. We also have scholarship opportunities, which we will provide more information about as we move further along in our program year. And we have, Fairfax County Alumnae Chapter has awarded more than $380,000 in scholarships. So next slide, I think that's my thank you, I do believe. Yes, it is. So it is my thank you to you all for declaring us as winners in the BGLO second annual membership challenge. I couldn't be more thrilled and happy to accept this on behalf of Fairfax County Alumnae Chapter. So I thank you.
President, I'm sorry, Galberth?
Galberth. Yes.
What programs are you all putting on for the remainder of the year? Do you have anything going on that we can support you on?
Oh, well, thank you so much. And we are in the midst of our program planning right now, but it was interesting, and I appreciate Lenore Simmons, who is a member of our chapter, and she mentioned that you all are going to be supporting Lorton, the back to school program there, and we will also have presence there as well. So we will be providing backpacks for the youth that will be present on that very, very busy day. And we are also in the process of talking about or negotiating for an ice cream truck, which I'm sure will be, very, very, welcome there. So that is one thing that we are going to do. We continue, as I said, President Zimmerman, those youth initiatives that I shared with you, those are mainstays of what we do. They are always during the course of the year. So if you know of any young women or young men that could, may want to take advantage of some of these enrichment programs, please feel free to share their names with us, or send them to our website. That is something that we can do. Our voter registration, where we will be doing that. Local churches, community events, we will be doing that as well. And then we will also have programs, as I said, in support of our 5-point programmatic thrust that will focus on international awareness, political involvement, financial, speaking of economic development, we do have a program on October the 3rd. We have what we call Fortitude Fridays. And so that is on October the 3rd. I'm sorry, but I do not have the name of the topic at hand, but that information can also be found on our website, where you can register to attend. It is free. The information is certainly very important and very useful. So those are off the top of my head. I can share with you, but I invite you and members of your, what are you saying there, Lenore? To go to, that's what I was going to say, go to our website, www.fcacdst.org. And again, and I thank you for this opportunity.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, President. We're gonna use Miss Lenore as a liaison so we can keep the
Yes.
conversation going and maybe work together on some different initiatives,
Love it.
and so on and so forth. So, Miss Lenore, actually, can you stay on after the meeting is over? And I think if there is nothing else, this meeting can be adjourned. Miss Lenore, oh, let everyone know that we got 5.5 for Boomerang and 6.5 for Waiting to Exhale. Diana doesn't know who neither one of those albums. And Monique said it's a tie. So that's how we get to 0.5. So Miss Noor is going to close us out with a